Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History. Well, you're about to discover the incredible story behind one of America's most familiar coins, the Roosevelt $1 from 1981. This tiny piece of change may seem ordinary at first glance, but it hides a world of mystery, rarity, and immense value. So, grab your coin jar, sit back, and let's take a closer look, because you might be holding a treasure without even realizing it. Let's start with the design. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. He led the country through the Great Depression and most of World War II, leaving behind a powerful legacy of leadership and resilience. After his passing in 1945, the U.S. Mint quickly moved to commemorate him with a new dime design, replacing the winged Liberty dime, often called the Mercury dime. On the obverse of the Roosevelt dime, you'll find a left-facing portrait of President Roosevelt. It's a clean, dignified design, his name curving around the top, the word Liberty boldly on the left, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," stamped just below his chin. On the right, you'll see the date, in this case, 1981, and depending on where the coin was minted, you might also see a small mint mark, like P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. Flip it over, and you'll see the reverse side, a design that symbolizes America's values and strength. In the center, there's a lit torch, representing liberty, flanked by an olive branch on the left for peace and an oak branch on the right for strength. Around the edges, you'll find United States of America, $1, and the powerful phrase, E pluribus unum, which means, out of many, one. Now, let's zoom in on the year 1981, a year when millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck and put into circulation. So what could possibly make one of them stand out from the rest? Here's where things get exciting. While most 1981 dimes were produced with the usual care and sent into everyday circulation, a select few were struck under unique conditions, especially at the San Francisco Mint. The S Mint Mark coins, produced for proof sets, were made with special polished dies and carefully handled to ensure mirror-like surfaces. But sometimes, even in the high-precision world of proof coins, mistakes happen. There are rare varieties of the 1981 proof Roosevelt dime where the mint mark is missing entirely, an error that instantly transforms an ordinary coin into a rare collectible. Even more fascinating, collectors have discovered different types of mint marks, the so-called Type 1 and Type 2 proofs, which differ slightly in appearance but can have a huge impact on the coin's value, and it's not just about proof coins. Some business strike dimes from 1981 have been found with off-center strikes, double dies, or other rare minting errors. These anomalies, while rare, can dramatically increase a coin's desirability and its price, but condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, and only those in the highest grades, usually mint state 67 or above, attract the attention of serious collectors and high-end auctions. A coin with a sharp strike, full bands on the torch, and no signs of wear is considered a gem, and gems fetch top dollar. So imagine this, a 1981 Roosevelt dime, perfectly preserved, with a rare error or variety, and in flawless mint state condition. That's the kind of coin that gets people talking. That's the kind of coin that breaks records, and yes, it's already happened. One such 1981 Roosevelt dime, with exceptional characteristics and collector-grade perfection, stunned the numismatic world when it sold at auction for a jaw-dropping total of $75,000. That's right, just 10 cents, transformed into $75,000. It's proof that hidden treasures can still be found in the most unexpected places. So, before you spend that next dime on candy, parking, or coffee, take a closer look. You just might be holding something far more valuable than pocket change. Today, we're diving into one of the most surprising coins of them all, the United States Roosevelt $1 from 1974. This is more than just a coin. It's history. It's mystery. And for some lucky collectors, it's money. Big money. Let's rewind to the year 1974. America was going through big changes, political tension, the aftermath of the Vietnam War, and economic shifts. Amidst all that, coins were being minted by the millions. And one of them, the Roosevelt dime, quietly continued its journey through people's pockets, lunchboxes, and piggy banks. At first glance, the 1974 Roosevelt dime looks just like every other dime you've probably seen in your life. But hold on, because not all 1974 dimes are created equal. Let's start with the design. On the front of the coin is the profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. His strong, determined face stares confidently to the left, a tribute to a man who led the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" frame his image, and just below his neck, you'll find the date, 1974. Depending on where your coin was minted, you may also spot a tiny letter near the date, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. That little letter makes a big difference, more on that in a moment. Now flip it over. On the reverse side, you'll see a beautiful and symbolic design, a lit torch in the center, representing freedom and enlightenment. On one side of the torch, there's an olive branch for peace. On the other, an oak branch, representing strength. Together, they tell a powerful story about America's ideals. Around the edge, it reads, United States of America, e pluribus unum, and of course, one dime. But here's where things get interesting. You see, while millions of 1,974 dimes were minted, only a small number became incredibly valuable, and not because of gold or silver. By this time, dimes were no longer made from silver. Instead, they were struck on copper-nickel-clad planchets, a less expensive metal combination. So why is the 1974 dime so special? The answer lies in two things, rarity and error. That's right. Some 1974 Roosevelt dimes were minted with striking mistakes. These could include things like off-center strikes, double dies, missing elements, or even being accidentally struck on the wrong metal planchet, like a penny planchet or a silver blank. These errors make the coins incredibly unique. And the more rare, the more collectors want them, but it doesn't stop there. Even standard 1974 dimes, with no visible error, can become highly desirable when they are in perfect condition. We're talking about coins that were never circulated, with flawless surfaces, sharp edges, and full details, the kind of coins graded at mint state 67, 68, or even higher by professional grading services. Collectors pay top dollar for perfection. And when that perfection meets rarity, well, that's when the magic happens. Now imagine this, a 1974 Roosevelt dime, struck under unusual conditions, preserved through time without a single scratch, and recognized by experts as one of the finest examples known to exist. That's the kind of coin that turns heads at auctions. That's the kind of coin that serious collectors will fight for. That's the kind of coin that once sold for an eye-popping, jaw-dropping total of $82,000, yes, you heard that right. Just 10 cents, worth $82,000. So before you toss your change into a vending machine, stop and take a look. That tiny coin in your pocket could be hiding a fortune. And who knows, your next Roosevelt dime might be the one that changes everything. Yes, we're talking about the Roosevelt dime, more specifically, the 1979 edition. It's tiny, often overlooked, and casually tossed around. But here's the truth, some of these dimes are hiding incredible secrets that can leave coin collectors stunned, and make your wallet a lot heavier. Let's take a closer look at the Roosevelt 1 dime from 1979. This is more than just 10 cents, it's a piece of American history, filled with mystery, elegance, and in some rare cases, a shocking price tag. The story begins with Franklin D. Roosevelt himself, the man whose profile appears on the front of the coin. He served as president during some of the toughest times in U.S. history, the Great Depression and World War II. After his death in 1945, he was honored with a place on the U.S. dime, replacing the previous design that had featured the Winged Liberty, or Mercury dime. By 1979, the Roosevelt dime had become a familiar sight in pockets and purses across America. But not all were created equal. While millions were produced, some carry special characteristics that make them incredibly rare and shockingly valuable. Let's start with the basics. The obverse, or front, of the coin shows Roosevelt's profile facing left. You'll see the word Liberty along the edge, the famous phrase, "In God We Trust," and just below his neck, the year, 1979. Depending on where the coin was struck, you might also spot a small mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. Now, flip it over. On the reverse, you'll find the classic Roosevelt dime imagery, a flaming torch in the center, symbolizing liberty. To the left is an olive branch for peace. To the right, an oak branch for strength and independence. Around the edge you'll read United States of America, e pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one, and of course, one dime. At a glance, it seems like just another coin, common, simple, and easy to ignore. But here's where things get fascinating. Some 1979 dimes contain minting errors or unusual features that turn them into rare collector's pieces. These errors are not always visible to the casual eye, but coin experts know exactly what to look for. Take for example double die strikes. This happens when the coin is struck more than once with a slight misalignment, causing the text or images to appear doubled. These are extremely rare, but when they occur, they can send the value of a dime skyrocketing. Another factor is the proof coins, especially the ones struck at the San Francisco Mint. These coins are supposed to be flawless, created with high detail and polished dies. But in 1979, something unusual happened. Some of the mint proof dimes had a variation in the mint mark itself. Collectors call it the Type 2S proof, and it's much rarer than the typical Type 1. Even without an error, a coin's condition plays a huge role in its value. Coins that are untouched, perfectly preserved, with mirror-like surfaces and no wear, are given high grades, mint state 67, 68, even 69. These grades mean the coin looks like it just left the mint, even after more than 4 decades. Now imagine this, a 1979 Roosevelt dime with a rare minting error, or a perfect proof strike, or both, preserved in pristine condition. These are the coins that leave collectors in awe. They're not sitting in your everyday pocket change. They're hidden in forgotten boxes, tucked away in coin albums, passed down unknowingly through generations. And when one is found, properly graded, authenticated, and put up for sale, the bidding wars begin. You might be wondering, how much can one of these rare dimes actually sell for? Well, brace yourself. Because one of these tiny 1979 Roosevelt dimes, with just the right combination of rarity and condition, once sold for an unbelievable amount, $73,000, yes, 10 cents. Worth $73,000. So next time you're holding a handful of change, take a closer look. That little coin might be far more than spare change, it might be a hidden gem, waiting to make history. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1985 Roosevelt one dime, a coin that millions of Americans have seen, held, and spent without a second thought. But what makes this particular dime so fascinating? Why are collectors constantly searching for it? And what makes some of them worth a jaw-dropping fortune? Let's take a closer look. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, just 1 year after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. His legacy as the only U.S. president elected to 4 terms, and his role in leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II, made him a historic figure worthy of honor. The dime was chosen as a tribute, partly because of Roosevelt's strong connection to the March of Dimes, a campaign that helped fight polio, a disease he personally battled. By 1985, the Roosevelt dime had already been in circulation for nearly 40 years. It had become a standard part of American change, something you'd find in vending machines, parking meters, and soda machines. But even in this commonality, a few 1985 dimes stood out from the rest. The front of the 1985 Roosevelt dime features a left-facing portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Around his image are the words, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1985. Depending on where it was minted, you'll find a small letter indicating the location, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the reverse design, a lit torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on one side and an oak branch on the other, symbols of peace and strength. Along the top curve are the words, United States of America, and at the bottom, one dime. Now, here's where things get interesting. Not all 1985 Roosevelt dimes are created equal. While the vast majority are worth just their face value, a tiny number have unique features that make them extremely rare and extremely valuable. Some coins from this year contain minting errors, small mistakes that happened during the production process. These could include things like off-center strikes, misaligned dies, missing elements, or even doubled lettering, known as a double die error. These errors are rare, but when found on a coin in excellent condition, they can dramatically increase its value. Then there are the proof dimes, coins that were specially made for collectors, with sharp details and mirror-like finishes. Most were struck at the San Francisco Mint. And in some cases, mistakes even happened in the production of these proof coins, like the use of the wrong die, or an unusual mint mark shape, making them even more desirable. Another crucial factor is the condition of the coin. Collectors use a grading scale, with mint state, or MS, grades going as high as MS 70. A dime graded MS 67 or higher is considered to be in nearly perfect condition, and those are incredibly rare, especially for coins that were made for everyday use. So how does a coin that was meant to buy a candy bar or make a phone call end up being a collector's dream? It all comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. When a 1985 Roosevelt dime is discovered with an unusual error, say, a double die or a missing mint mark, and it's preserved in stunning, uncirculated condition, it becomes the kind of coin that collectors chase for years. These coins are then authenticated, graded, and often sold at auctions where passionate bidders compete to add them to their private collections. And this brings us to the moment you've been waiting for, one incredibly rare 1985 Roosevelt dime, featuring a highly unusual minting error and graded in superb mint state condition, stunned the coin collecting world when it sold for an eye-popping total of $68,000. Yes, that tiny 10-cent piece that could be sitting in a drawer or piggy bank has, under the right conditions, sold for more than most brand new luxury cars. So, next time you pick up a dime from your change, take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of history, and perhaps, a small fortune. Today, we're uncovering the fascinating story behind the United States Roosevelt one dime from 1991, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but could surprise you with its worth. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American currency since 1946. Created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, this dime is more than just pocket change. Its design, featuring Roosevelt's profile on the front and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the back, symbolizes liberty, peace, and strength. Now, the 1991 Roosevelt dime was minted in large numbers, appearing in countless transactions across the country. Despite its widespread circulation, this particular year hides a few rare and intriguing mysteries. What sets certain 1991 Roosevelt dimes apart from the ordinary ones? Collectors know that even the smallest minting quirks can make a coin valuable. In 1991, some Roosevelt dimes were struck with unique errors or variations that make them highly sought after. These include double die errors, where letters or numbers appear doubled, a misaligned strike, or even coins with missing mint marks. These imperfections are unintentional, but for collectors, they're like gold. Another factor contributing to a coin's value is condition. Most coins see heavy circulation, picking up scratches, nicks, and where that diminish their appeal. However, some rare specimens from 1991 remain in pristine, uncirculated condition, almost as if they were frozen in time. These mint state coins with sharp details and no blemishes are extremely desirable. Proof versions of the 1991 Roosevelt dime also hold a special place in collectors' hearts. Made with extra care and struck multiple times to highlight detail, proof coins often feature mirror-like surfaces and crisp designs. When a 1991 proof dime carries an error or comes from a limited batch, it can command significant attention. But how does this all translate to real value? While the vast majority of 1991 Roosevelt dimes are worth just their face value of 10 cents, those rare mint errors, unique varieties, or flawless proof coins can sell for extraordinary amounts. In the world of coin collecting, rarity combined with condition creates a powerful equation. The fewer of these special 1991 dimes exist, and the better their state of preservation, the higher their price climbs. And here's the astonishing reveal: a 1991 Roosevelt 1 dime, with a rare minting error and in pristine condition, has been known to fetch a staggering $60,000. Yes, $60,000 for a single dime once used in everyday life. It's a reminder that sometimes, the most unassuming items can hide incredible value. So next time you come across a dime, take a moment to examine it closely. You could be holding more than just a coin, you might be holding a hidden treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin collecting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing stories about coins that could change your life. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting.